And just like that, good morning and good afternoon. Welcome back to DCTV, where I am your host, Drew Collins, bringing you all sports-related news here in the beautiful greater Cincinnati area. If you happen to be new around here, join the DCTV family and hit that subscribe button. Once you hit that subscribe button, you'll be entered into a free jersey giveaway of the new stripes, the new jerseys that the Bengals are releasing very, very soon. Could be any day now, any week now. You'll be entered into a giveaway for that. Join the Discord, third link in the description. 100 plus people, and all we do is talk Bengals football in a group chat for free. And then if you enjoyed, and whether you think the Bengals should make this move about Giovani Bernard or not, but you're just a Bengals fan in general, hooday and smash that like button for me. I'd really, really appreciate it. So we're gonna go ahead and get into things. I mean, you already see what we're talking about today. Giovani Bernard. If you're not too sure what happened, Tom Pelissero and a couple other NFL reporters, big dogs, big guys, aren't little Cincinnati news. These are big guys, one of the the biggest reporters out there in the National Football League, coming out and saying multiple teams have inquired about Bengals running back Giovani Bernard, aka the Mustache Man, aka the team leader, aka the Houday Man, whatever you want to call him. We all know Giovani Bernard. I think most Bengals, or all Bengals fans, love him. But nonetheless, a bunch of teams have reached out to the Bengals. Hey man, can we get him for this? Hey man, can we get him for that? What about this? 56, whatever. And that's all we have so far. Obviously, he has not been traded as of right now. I believe today is March 25th. It is about 8 p.m. Eastern time. He has not been traded as of right now, but that is the news so far. I'm gonna tweak that way. There we go. Yeah, nonetheless, most importantly, let me hear your feedback in the comment section below, live and post-production. I want to know your thoughts, and especially this one, because I feel like it's going to be pretty, I feel like the answers are going to be all over the place. I feel like there's going to be some people who say, yeah, do it if it's for the right deal, and I have a feeling there's going to be some people like, heck no, it's the Mustache Man. How the hell can we get rid of Giovani Bernard? That is just not right. So basically what I'm going to talk together in this stream is why I think it could be a possibility, and if it does, why I think it could benefit the Bengals, but also why maybe hang on to him because of particular reasons other than outside his play. So I'm about to get right into that after I shout out a couple of the people that are here live. Let's get a shout out to Drake Berry, Richard, Connor, LT, Stewart, Roach, Jerry, Daniel, Boring. Thank you all, and Houday, thank you for coming into the stream early. Yeah, from apparently there's some rumors that it could be the Dolphins and the Panthers are some of the teams that could be reaching out to him. So keep a lookout. We'll see what happens, but nonetheless, this is what I want. I'm going to start with why I think if it does happen realistically, where are the positive outcomes for Giovani Bernard obviously leaving Cincinnati? And I'm going to start by saying, if he were to get traded, we would save over $4.2 million in cap space, aka that money could go towards our offensive line, like a Trey Turner or all these other targets that the Bengals are potentially looking at. That's where that money could go for. It also could go towards a Ryan Kerrigan, a guy that is visiting Cincinnati as of right now, and could be very, very, very. He could be that big veteran guy that we need on defense to be able to teach our young linebacker core, keep our defensive line in check. I mean, that's just some of the targets why I think there could be a possibility. $4 million, we get rid of him. We could put that money into #protect Burrow or continue to add to our defensive players. Yeah. Next, we're going to get into that he's 29 years old. Obviously, he's not our head back. That is what we have Joe Mixon for, and that's why the Bengals paid Joe Mixon to be our 3-down back. Occasionally, when he gets wore down, mid to late games, bringing another guy. Joe Mixon's going to come back healthy and ready with an improved offensive line. You're not going to see as much of Giovani Bernard this season as you did last season because of Joe Mixon's injury, excuse me. So we're not going to see him as much. And the last one is that this is the last year of his deal. So realistically, even if we don't trade him and he comes back this season, he's most likely going to leave next season. Our other running backs we have right now, we're kind of a full locker room right now with running backs. I think we just brought P. Ryan back. I'm pretty sure we have let me look at the roster. I want to make sure I get this right. We have a whole bunch of guys. Yeah, we're gonna have. Let's see. Obviously, we're going to have Samaje Perine back. We're also going to have Travion Williams. I mean, we're going to have a pretty good locker room of running backs that, if need be, Mixon goes down, these guys can come in and step up. Now, what are some of the negatives if Giovani Bernard leaves? And for me, it's more of what happens off the field than on the field. Well, I mean, we all know Giovani Bernard's not going to rush for 1,000 yards, 300 receiving, and 7 touchdowns. It's just not going to happen because he's not going to be our starting back and he's not going to get as much playing time. But what does Giovani Bernard bring? That's a classic Bengal, a true pro in the locker room, a team leader, a guy that has pierced this new Zach Taylor new day, this new locker room. He has been the guy, even though he hasn't been with Zach Taylor the whole time, he's been really the only guy that's left out of the old era that's been able to cheer alongside Zach Taylor and say, hey guys, you need to check in with Zach Taylor because this guy's doing it right. So I would be really, really surprised if Zach Taylor does trade Giovani Bernard, just because Giovani Bernard's the only player from the Mike Zimmer era that has stuck up for Zach Taylor. Geno Atkins, Carlos Dunlap, all those older guys, I mean, they hit the door because they don't like Zach Taylor and Lou and the coaching staff. They just don't enjoy it anymore. And so they left for obvious reasons or injuries, but you get the point. Giovani Bernard's been the only other guy from the old era that said, hey guys, listen to Zach Taylor. This guy knows what he's doing. The future is bright. Look upon the horizon. Just come on. You guys need to buy in to the new day. He's been the only guy. So if Zach Taylor does trade him, that tells me something. That tells me that maybe there are some other guys in that locker room that are with Zach Taylor now. But other than that, that would honestly shock me if he gave up the biggest guy on his side. I mean, Giovani Bernard, let's be honest, he's a true class act. He is a great leader and a great locker room guy, especially for Zach Taylor. I mean, if Giovani Bernard wouldn't be so positive, we would have nobody from the Marvin Lewis era. I mean, nobody that would stick up for Zach Taylor. So because of that, I think it's a huge reason why he's possibly going to say, I think Zach Taylor's going to think it twice. But now I ask the question, okay, if the Bengals did trade him, what are we fielding here? If I'm going to be honest, I probably would say anywhere from a, 4th to 7th round pick. Maybe another, backup offensive lineman. But if I were to guess, I wouldn't want another player returned just because that $4 million in cap space, I want all that money back so I can go sign who I want instead of being traded a player who's probably just, going to be whoever. We could take that $4 million and go sign, put it towards a Trey Turner contract, Ryan Kerrigan, whoever the Bengals actually want to target, they can put that money towards. Where if you trade Bernard and a 5th round pick or a mid-round pick and a player, well, you're not going to get as much money back from the cap, so what's kind of the point unless that player is going to be able to come in and make an immediate start at a different position? I know some people are saying, oh, I don't want him unless we can get an actual player to play, right? I see where you're coming from, and at some point I do agree, but the money where the Bengals could also put it towards somewhere that they exactly want would honestly probably be the better choice in the long run. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. Do you think we should get rid of Giovani Bernard? And at the end of the day, I'm going to let you, Houday Nation and Bengals fans, know this. I know it's a tough decision. It's hard to see your fan favorites go. I mean, we've seen AJ Green go, Geno Atkins, Carlos Dunlap, all these, future Bengal Hall of Famers, most likely, if Hall of Fame gets leaked or whatever, got leaked, is the Bengals going to have one. They are going to have to, and they honestly should in the future. But you know what I mean? I mean, these guys that are one of the best of the positions all time in this entire organization, you see these guys leave, and Giovani Bernard, not the best of all time for Cincinnati, but a big fan favorite, class act. It's hard to see these guys go, I know, but at the same time, we are looking towards the future. What can we do to build around Joe Burrow to have the most successful team in the future? Is that with Giovani Bernard? You let me know your opinion. So just keep a even mind. Do you want Giovani Bernard because he's your favorite player, or do you want Giovani Bernard on the team because you think it will lead to Bengals success in 2021 and towards the future? Keep that in mind, please. I've seen a lot of these people that they just love Giovani Bernard, and I think we all do, and they're just like, no way, this will be totally unacceptable. This, that. If the Bengals can field some pretty good, a mid-round draft pick, get some money and maybe a couple other options, and Zach Taylor feels like he has the locker room where he wants it, We're not keeping Giovani Bernard for his on-field play as we are his off-field. Yes, I know he can come in. He's going to be the receiving back. He knows what he's doing. He's a veteran. He'll be able to move guys around. But Joe Mixon's getting up there. He's been in the league for a couple years. He's on his second contract. The Bengals paid him to be a 3-down back, the heavy horse, getting all the reps, first down, second down, third down. Like, that's what the Bengals paid him for. Obviously, if you can stay healthy, why are you gonna have all these other contracts laying with the running backs? So I love Giovani Bernard. I think he brings last season he brought a dynamic that unlike we had in the past. We had Mixon go down and have this kid step up. Well, not kid because he's 29, but to have him come in, step up, be very effective in the receiving game. He is phenomenal at blocking. When he has to come in and sit there and take some blocks from these defensive end and linebackers and safeties, Giovani Bernard, I think, is the best run blocker, or is the best blocking running back we have on the team. I know Joe Mixon's a lot bigger, so he should be better at taking those big guys' hits. But when Giovani Bernard comes in, he takes some big hits for his quarterback. So I do love that. I mean, he is just a complete ball of energy, and I want the best for him in his future. And I would love to see him in stripes. If the Bengals can still have success next season and keep Giovani Bernard in a Bengals jersey, I'm all for it. But let's see. Let's field some options. What's going on here? What are we possibly getting ourselves into? But I want to bring this stat to you, and you let me know how you feel. So we know Cincinnati's not a big market team. They don't have a huge salary cap compared to the Cowboys, and they don't have money pulling out like Jerry Jones does. But the Bengals lead the entire NFL in money tied up into a running back room in 2021 with $15.9 million. And guess who's second? The Cowboys with 15.5, the Titans with 15.5, the Giants 15, Broncos 14.2, Saints 11.8. So the Bengals have the most money tied up in a running back group than any other team in the National Football League. That is not ideal, folks. That is not ideal. Now, if we were the Giants, the Jets, the Patriots, the Cowboys, if we were a team like that who just rakes in money year after year because of how big their city is, how much their owner makes, yada, 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 whatever, the Cincinnati is just not one of those franchises, and you guys know that. And especially with all the money we've spent last offseason and this offseason, we've just spent a lot of money, which is good because they're putting a competitive team around. But if we have the most money tied up in a group of running backs next season, you think Zach Taylor in the front office is looking at that personal stat and they're like, that's not ideal, you know what I mean? So I want you to just keep in mind all this together and your choice of seeing Bernard let go or not. My personal opinion, do I think it will happen? I honestly think there's probably a 60-40 chance. I think it's probably 40-60. I think there's a 40% chance to a 60% chance of it not happening, a 40% chance that it does happen. Just because I think if they get the right offer from the right team and know they're going to spend that money on a different position like a Trey Turner or a Ryan Kerrigan, then yes, I think they pull the trigger and they get somewhat decent back. But if they're not getting great offers and they're not really saving money, then why even do the offer in the first place? So keep in mind, I think the biggest thing of all is does Zach Taylor want to lose Giovani Bernard? Basically, his Robin to Zach Taylor being the Batman of holding a locker room together. That's what Giovani Bernard has been for Zach Taylor. So that is if you ask me, hey, DC, what's your opinion? What's the chances? That would be what I would say. Now I'm going to go over some of his stats from the previous seasons. Let's see. 2020, obviously, he got a pretty big load. The biggest in a long time. His biggest load since 2015. He had 124 attempts, 416 carries, 3 touchdowns rushing, 3 touchdowns receiving with 355 yards receiving with the 416 rushing. But like I said, he came in and he was a starter for about half the season. 2019, 53 attempts, 170, 0 touchdowns across the board. 2018, 56 attempts, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns. 2017, 105 attempts, 2 touchdowns rushing, 389 receiving, and 2 touchdowns as well. So you could see, he has a career average of about 4 yards per carry, which is pretty nice, especially for a backup to be able to come and get some reliable yards. He has a decent amount of touchdowns, rushing and receiving, and I think that's the biggest draw besides his. I think his biggest draw on the field is that he can come in and he can be that scat back where you could hike, toss it over, hike, toss it over, or there was even times last season where he was lining up in 5 or 4 out as a as an eligible receiver and get the ball quickly to him in a little screenplay, and obviously he does that better than what Joe Mixon would do, at least as of what I've seen so far in both of their careers. We'll see if Joe Mixon, improves in the receiving game. But that's what I saw out of Giovani Bernard. I think that's his biggest upside. The second would be, like I said, his blocking. When he's able to come in, that guy takes some big hits. I mean, watch the tape. I've never seen such a little running back at 5'9", 208 pounds. That's what Giovani Bernard is. Come in and just lay his body on the line for Joe Burrow, Ryan Finley, Brandon Allen, Andy Dalton. It don't matter who's at quarterback. He puts his body on the line and protects the quarterback the best to his ability. And he does it. He's 5'9", 208, but when he does it, he looks like he's 6'2", 230. I mean, I'm just really proud. That's one of my favorite things about Giovani. I just feel like a heart, the soul and spirit of a locker room. And if the Bengals really do give him away, they need to realize that is what they're losing in Giovani Bernard. So I think a lot of people are coming and expecting me to make a choice like, yes, trade him, or no, don't trade him. I'm in the middle of the air. I love Giovani Bernard. He brings a lot of things to the locker room that other guys can't. Guys will typically bring good play and locker room, this and that. He has a captain badge for a region, and I think that's kind of well understood why he has that captain badge. So that's kind of my thoughts on the Giovani Bernard situation. I am going to be doing a stream soon. It was actually supposed to be the stream tonight that I was going to be doing on Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator for the Bengals, and if you saw it, you saw what it's going to be. I'm still going to do that stream, just not tonight. When I saw this news pop up earlier, I kind of want to touch base on it and my thoughts of what might happen, but I'm still going to be doing that stream. Are the Bengals saving his job? Are they doing it on purpose? A lot of people have said it's kind of suspicious. We'll talk about it soon. I'm not sure what day yet, but I'm always live Tuesdays and Thursdays for sure, usually 7 to 8 p.m. And then any other time there's breaking news or just I have free time, I'll go live. So make sure you guys are hitting that notification bell so you don't have to watch post-production and you can join us live and watch with everybody else during the stream. I also really do appreciate all the support lately. You guys have been killing the subscribe button. We've been growing like a wildfire in California. You guys have been killing it with the subscribe button and even the likes. So I really appreciate all the support, guys. I want to shout out my recent donator, Drake Berry, my recent subscriber, David, my member, Buzz Hodges. He's a member of the DC family. If you want to join that, link in the description. And then my all-time donator, Tony. And then as well, follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. To stay up to date, I'm mostly active on my Twitter, but I'm also pretty active on my Instagram. But Twitter, if you want the best breaking news for the Bengals outside of YouTube, my Twitter is always... So, really, really appreciate it. What are we saying in chat? How are we feeling about this? Giovanni's the man that we need to keep him. I agree with the host right now about what he just said, that he is a real Bengal for sure. Exactly. I totally agree with that. Cringe Wizard said Gio's value has probably never been higher, and that's really strange. As a 29-year-old running back, and that's when you're going to get probably most of your value. Most of the running backs nowadays are either out the league or out of their prime by 29. Obviously, the guys that are on top of the league, they're still productive 29 and older, but a lot of these guys, they're banged up, they're injured, and they're just not, they're a shell of them former selves. But then we have Giovani Bernard. This is probably exactly, I really agree with that, and that's interesting that he's 29 turning 30, and he has the most interest in probably in his entire career. That's a very valid point. Keep putting your thoughts in the comments. I'm trying to catch up and read you guys. Crip says, I hope he stays in Cincinnati and starts a pizza business. Great name, Giovani Bernard Pizza. It could be Giovani the Mustache Man Pizza. Or Giovani, the Mustache Man Bernard Pizza. Yeah, for sure. That'd be funny. Or Mustache Pizza. Or Giovanni's a good Italian name like that. So I see what you're saying. And he had been healthy his whole career. Says Richard. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Then Crow makes a pretty valid point here. This is pretty funny too. I'm pretty sure Gio was our best lineman at one point of last year. LOL, he's such a good blocking back. I mean, that's pretty much well said. You probably could have threw him up on the offensive line, and he probably would have been about 7 inches shorter and 100 to 150 pounds smaller than the opposing defender. But he'd probably put up a better fight than some of the guys we had on that line last year. Looks like we got some Bengals fans from Cali. Cool, cool. Uh, Jose says, I think we should keep him. It would be hard to replace him if they trade him. They should feel comfortable with the rest of the running back room and should have a good plan for an extra cap. Yeah, I think they are comfortable with the rest of the running back room. I think, Giovani Bernard, we saw the guys that had to play behind him the rest of last season, all the Oklahoma guys we had in there. I think that's not the problem. I think the problem is just losing his presence as a captain and a true leader more than his actual or the actual other guys we have in the locker room. I'd be happy if we got a second or a third for Gio. I think that's pretty unlikely. I'd be very, very surprised. I think highest we get's a fourth. If we get anything higher than a fourth, I will stand up and have a 10-minute live of me just giving applause to that man right there, Mike Brown, if he can pull off getting anything of a third or higher for Giovani Bernard. I really don't see anything above a fourth. So Yahoo visited. So this week we have Ryan Kerrigan visiting. We should have Nick Easton visiting. That's who we know of. That's confirmed as of now. And then we'll see with whatever happens with Giovani Bernard, who else might visit. Yada yada yada. XYZ type of thing. You know what I mean? Giovanni's the best running back. We have Piran. I mean, not over Mixon, but I still like Piran and some of the younger guys we have as well. And the Bengals did bring them back for a reason. Maybe at the time they were already getting some offers for Bernard, so I knew maybe we should bring these guys back. But the fact that we are the highest team that's tied up with running back cap space with 15.5 or the most in the NFL, that's pretty concerning for me. It'd be different if we were number one in rushing. If we were the number one team, if we were the number one leading rushing team and we had the most cap space tied up in our running back room, I wouldn't feel as bad. But, I'm not going to put up numbers because we didn't have Mixon last season. I understand that, but let's see how we are this season for sure. I mean, if you have the most money tied up in a position, that position should be one of the best in the league. Let's be honest. Dak Prescott wants one of the most money in the league. He should be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Patrick Mahomes, biggest contract in the league. I'm pretty sure he should be paying like the best player in the league. And I think that goes for positions too. Yeah, and Trayvon Williams, like Dave said, I mean, we have a group of guys. I don't think that would be the issue. It's just the locker room presence that Bernard brings. I think was my biggest point here. And the fact of how much money we have tied up into our running back group. But other than that, I just think the loyalty of Bernard and the fact that he is Zach Taylor's Robin to Zach Taylor being the Batman and Robin. I mean, nobody in the Marvin Lewis era stuck up for, or stuck with, I should say, stuck up for and stuck with, excuse me, for Zach Taylor than anybody else. No AJ Green, no Carlos Dunlap, no Geno Atkins, all those guys, all those leaders of the past. None of them stood up for Zach Taylor. Matter of fact, it was pretty obvious that a lot of them didn't like Zach Taylor, nor could stand his coaching. Giovani Bernard's been that one guy to go under his wing and say, hey, man, this is my locker room. I got it. So I just think that's going to be hard for Zach Taylor to then turn around and trade him. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Get active in the comment section of your thoughts. I say trade Gio if we get a fourth or a fifth. We still have P Ryan and Trayvon Williams. I think it'll be good if Gio is gone. Yeah, like I said, the play, the play on the field. Yes, we lose a really good receiving back who can come in when Burrow is banged up and all that stuff, but or not Burrow, Mixon, excuse me, but he's 29, and I think that another big thing is that, like I said, his contract's up next year, so most likely he's gonna head somewhere else, or he's gonna have to take less pay, or he's gonna take a pay cut, even though he doesn't get paid that much, just because we have so much money tied up in running backs already. Um, so fourth round pick. You guys think a fourth round pick? Yeah, I mean, I would be super shocked if the Bengals received anything above a fourth round pick, in compensation for him. But a lot of people have said. I said this earlier, was like, oh well, if we don't, I want a player back. I want a player. I want a player. I kind of don't because I want that 4.2 million in cap space we would receive for the Bengals to go sign whoever and sign whoever they want whenever they want. Whereas if you get a player back, it's probably not going to be anybody too great. It's probably just going to be a backup or a role guy. Well, he might be getting paid as much or even more. Well, what was the whole point of that? We didn't save any money, as if we lose him, we get 4.2 million back. Well, Polar Bear said Bernard has done so much every year, and it'd be done to let him go. This past year, he showed he can be more than just a receiving back. I mean, he averaged 3.4 carry through 124 attempts. So I still don't think he's a premier rushing guy. That's what we paid Joe Mixon for. We paid Joe Mixon to be our dark horse. But yes, I do agree that Giovani Bernard on the field can come in and produce, pick up a couple of yards when Mixon is either, tweak something or he's fatigued. He also can come in and get some touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns rushing and 3 touchdowns receiving. I think we have other guys that can do just as much with them, or just as much as him through the rushing game, if not more, with P Ryan and Trayvon Williams. I mean, it's just a backup spot. But the one thing those guys can't bring that Giovani Bernard brings is his locker room presence, his veteran presence, and just his captain badge in general. They can't bring that, but Gio can. They can't bring his experience, none of that. That's all Giovani Bernard. They can't bring that. But physicality, the backup role, those guys can definitely step in and produce just as much as they would. Probably not just as much, just because they wouldn't be getting playing time as much. The reason Giovani Bernard's number is 416 rushing yards, 355 receiving yards was because Mixon was out half season. You guys already know that. But, I think that's not my biggest reason. Like I said earlier in the beginning of the stream, it's not it's not his physicality, it's not his play, but it's his locker room presence that nobody else could bring if Zach Taylor does decide to pull the trigger and trade Bernard. We have so many young backs on the roster. We are good. Jaquez, Patrick, Rodney, Anderson, Williams, says Dave. So there's just to name a few of them. Let's see. Bernard getting released after this year, or he gets a 1-year contract. It's how Mike Brown does business. Well, his contract is up after this season anyway. So I said it earlier in the stream. If we don't get rid of him, he most likely walks next season. The Bengals just have so much money. Like I said, I pulled up a stat earlier if you didn't hear about that. The Bengals in 2021 lead the entire league in money and has the current most money tied up in the running back position in the entire league with 15.9. That beats anybody. Cowboys, Titans, Giants, Broncos, Saints. The entire league Bengals have the most money tied up to a running back core, and I think it's a big appeal to why they're looking to move something or someone, because that's just too much money for a team that wasn't very good in rushing last year. Once again, I say that knowing that Mixon was gone, but still, with being the number one, paying your running back core the most in the NFL, well, that running back core should be the best in the NFL. That's just how it is. That's where you put your money where your mouth is, and then the players got to produce. Obviously, I know the offensive line has been terrible. We're looking for them to improve this season. That it protects Joe Burrow and protects, or should produce more for Joe Mixon. Obviously, it should be a little easier for him. I mean, this might be the best group of guys on the offensive line he's had his entire career so far. We'll see what continues to happen throughout free agency. I really hope Mixon can do some things in the future. Mixon will do some big things this season. Just wait. It's coming. He's healthy. He's going to have probably the best offensive line of his entire career so far, at least to the right side with Riley Reef, Quentin Spain, or somebody else. We'll see who else. If Quentin Spain doesn't start right guard, we'll see who does. But running out to the right side, he should definitely have a lot of fun out there. So I'm looking for a big year from Mixon. But who's going to be his backup? Is it going to be Bernard, Pirine, Williams? Who's it going to be? We'll have to see. Who's going to return kicks? Well, the kick return was Brandon Wilson. We re-signed him this offseason. But punt return, because Alex Erickson has left, I'm not too sure who's going to fill that position. I'm going to assume somebody in the draft or a UDF agent. Who knows? Maybe somebody else already on the roster might want to take, or maybe Brandon Wilson wants to punt or field some punts. I'm not sure if he's done that in his past or what, but I just know he did the kicks, but Erickson handled the punt. So we'll have to see. That's a great question. Great Pup says, hello, you gonna stream the draft? Hell yeah. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to stay tuned. I will be doing a live reaction with all you beautiful Bengals fans to join me and react live, baby. That's going to be a fun one as well. If you guys are enjoying this, whether you agree to release a Bernard or not, smash that like button for some Houday luck for hopefully a Ryan Kerrigan signing or a Trey Turner signing or a Nick Eason, or just continuously add some more depth and great talent to this roster. I really, really appreciate all of the support from you, Houday Nation. Uh, Josh said, John, I'm more concerned. Hire a good field goal kicker versus a guy to catch the ball to dash. It's 90% the same. They are too covered. Who's Randy said, I wonder if the front office asked Gio about being traded. Maybe he's okay with it because whoever trades for him will need to use him. And yeah, I mean, with how much this guy has stuck up for Zach Taylor, I've made the anomaly that he is the Robin to Zach Taylor being Batman. I mean, he has been the only player in the Marvin Lewis era to stick up for this guy. We saw all the other guys in the past leave and obviously not like Zach Taylor. But Giovani Bernard's been the only guy to stick up for Zach Taylor and tell the rest of the locker room, hey, guys, just look towards the future. It's, brighter upon the horizon. Hey, guys, it's the new day. It's the Who Day. Focus in. We're going to turn this thing around soon. You guys hear the Zach Taylor comments. And what is Giovani Bernard? He preaches it throughout the locker room. He's been his Robin to him being Batman. It is just a fact. He's been the one guy to stand up for him. And that's why I said it's probably about a 40% to him being traded to a 60% of him not being traded, in my personal opinion, because if Zach Taylor gives up his most loyal player since he's came to Cincinnati and trades him, he must be confident in the rest of the locker room already being bought into him, because there was one time last year where I'm pretty sure Giovani Bernard was the only Bengal bought into Zach Taylor's system at one time. And I truly do believe that when all the injuries were down, when all the starters were out, I feel like Bernard was the only guy positive in that locker room that I could see that really stuck by his side. So if he were to give up that for a 4th-round pick and $4 million in cap space, hey, man, at the end of the day, the National Football League is a business, and the Bengals are going to do what they believe is the best to succeed in 2021 and the future, with or without Giovani Bernard, and I just want to say that. So to your point, Randy, I wouldn't be surprised if they did, sit down with Gio. Hey, man, we have fielded some offers from you. Here are the teams, or maybe they don't tell them teams. Nonetheless, I do believe they sit down with them. Hey, how are you feeling about this? Not all organizations do that, obviously, because it is a business. They're going to do what's best for them and not the player. But with how much respect Cincinnati has and how much of a fan favorite Giovani Bernard is, I would suspect something of that, kind of respectful level between the two, or respectful exchange would happen. But who knows? Like I said, the NFL, it's a business, man. And the organization or the owner has to do what he believes the best for his team. Oh, Darius Phillips. Yeah, I guess Darius Phillips is a good choice to return punts. So, unless they bring in somebody in as a UDFA or in the draft. No way I trade Mixon for picks. I'm assuming you mean Giovani Bernard, not Mixon. Use those picks for O-line receiver, building the O-line will let any fourth round running back succeed. Get value for Mixon before you have to pay him. Or are you talking about like the pass? Because we already paid Mixon. I'm kind of confused. If you could re-elaborate what you're saying. We already paid Mixon, so I appreciate that. Appreciate you, Cray Pup. If they could pick up a good pick out of it, I guess, and they could land Trey Sermon in the 4th, 5th round, I wouldn't be too mad about it, says Dylan. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I would be really surprised, and I'll give it to the man up there, Mike Brown, if we can land anything better than a 4th round pick. And I know a lot of people are saying, let's get a player back. Let's get a player back. I might be on the lesser side of that. I might be on the, minority side of that. I don't think we should get a player back, because I think we should just get the $4.2 million in cap space back to go sign the player we want. Because I mean, if we trade for a player, it's not going to be all-star caliber. It's going to be whatever, and that player might have just as much as money in Giovani Bernard's contract, $4 million, or might even have more. So we're not really saving money here. We already know we have guys, Ryan Kerrigan, Nick Easton, and we're trying to get Trey Turner to a visit in Cincinnati. You got to pay those guys. Yes, I know the Bengals do have cap space to sign them right now, but adding, having this extra $4 million would be nice, and some draft capital as well. So do keep that in mind. Fat Randy is gone, Dave. Ken says it's an all-in year. Zach will not have a job, so trade, get players in other places. I think that about Lou. It's definitely an all or nothing year for Lou, and I will get into that with my stream coming up about Lou and the Bengals situation. Are the Bengals doing a little too much to try to protect Lou? What are they doing? That will be a stream in a future date. I think that's definitely the case for Lou. I do think Zach Taylor will have another year no matter what this year, unless he gets less than 3 wins. I think that's the only way he gets fired. They are letting him make all the moves and sign all the money and the players he wants. He has something that no other coach, Marvin Lewis, has done to actually convince Mike Brown of, spending money. Obviously, I know Joe Burrow is a huge part of that. Don't get me wrong. But I think because you don't want to give Joe Burrow multiple coaches in his first years, because, I mean, the success to failure rate of quarterbacks who have different coaches in the first few seasons of their career, they fail most of the time. Let's be honest. So I don't think it's an all or nothing year for Zach Taylor. I think he will get another season unless he has like less than 3 or 4 wins. If he can get 6, 8 or more wins, I think he will get at least one more season. No matter what. But hey, I could be wrong. I'm not the biggest fan of Zach Taylor of what I've seen in his career, but I do think he has a lot of potential and an upside of creating a good offense around Joe Burrow and bringing in possibly a lot of targets from the draft, and just continuously trying to protect Burrow and give him more time to throw the ball. I think Zach Taylor has a really good chance to shine this season, but hey, I don't want to jinx anything. So those are my thoughts on that situation. So if you guys are in here, smash that like button. Let's get to over 50 likes on the stream. And if you're watching this post-production, let's get it to over 100 likes. Peace and love, baby, to all my all my Cincinnati people watching this. Who Dey, baby. This free agency, man, it's been a blast so far. It really has. This is the most moves I've seen the Cincinnati Bengals make in my entire life so far. So if they're signing superstars, or they're signing role players, or depth players, or whatever moves they're making, I'm bought in to the new stripes, the new day, the Who Dey, baby. And I hope you are too. If you're enjoying yourself, hey, man, spam Who Dey in the comment section below and let me know continuously your thoughts. If you're watching this post-production, your thoughts on the situation. Giovani Bernard, do you think he'll be traded? And do you think he should be traded? I'd like to know your thoughts. Let's continue reading the chat here live. Hershey said, I'm giving Taylor a few more years. If he doesn't prove his worth, he needs out. He's a new kid that needs more experience. I mean, he's one of the youngest coaches in the National Football League. We just know his win-loss ratio. Let's look at that right now. Let's look at his record as a coach. This is why if he gets fired, this would be why. He's 4-11-1. Oh, that was 2020. I want to know his career record. Sorry. I want to see his career record. His regular season head coaching record is 6-25-1. So add 2 more wins to that, obviously, because season before. 6-25-1. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, I know the roster he was given when coming into Cincinnati. I get it. The situation he was put in coming into Cincinnati. But I'm just saying in the future, if he does get fired, it's because he probably didn't get that win ratio tied to his losing ratio and or above it within the next season or two. So I'm just going to say that. Danny said, who will be our pass catcher if we lose Gio? I don't want Gio to go. I mean, out of the backfield, I think Mixon's going to be able to field some balls, especially being active in the screen game. Obviously, he's a little bit of a bigger back, so some people could argue that it's easier for the smaller backs to get active in the screen game. But like I said, our other backs behind us or behind Giovani Bernard are more than welcome to, I guess, get a shot in the receiving game, I guess, to be a scat back. I don't know if any of them are quite like a caliber of Giovani Bernard or as effective in the receiving game, like you said. But, Pirine, Williams, I'm sure they're all going to get a shot, and they're going to evaluate that. Let's say Bernard does get traded. I'm sure they're going to be able to evaluate that come training or come up the training. I don't know why I'm struggling to find words right now, but, preseason and the training before, they're going to be able to figure out, okay, who can catch the ball at the backfield? Who can we run with screens? Who can we sometimes when we need to line up in 5 or 4 out, as we saw them do that quite a bit last season with Bernard. He lined up as an eligible receiver. Is Mixon going to be able to do that? If not, who so? That's a great question. Dylan said, agreed. Take the cap space and the pick. Get some more youth in the draft. Drake said, give us a pick. All we'd get is a backup probably. Logic said, Who Dey, Logic. Kerrigan rumored to be 2-year, $13 million. What's your source on that? I didn't see a source on that. Dylan said it would need to be for sure a good coach. For example, look what happened with Baker from the Browns. He was struggling going coach to coach, but we got a Stefanski. He shined again. Hey, and I am a huge fan of Kevin Stefanski. Go all the way back to, I think it was week 2, 3, or 4, and I said, watch this. I don't know if the Browns are going to make the playoffs, but I said Kevin Stefanski was the best move I've seen the Browns make my entire lifetime. I said I'm a huge fan of Kevin Stefanski and what he did in Minnesota, and I knew he was going to have a great coach, or I knew he was going to be a great head coach whenever he got the chance. Unfortunately, he won our division. I'm a huge Kevin Stefanski fan, not a Brown fan, obviously, and then he ends up getting Coach of the Year. So, yeah, it's kind of a bummer because I am a Kevin Stefanski fan. Obviously, I root against him every time the Bengals play against them, but I followed him all the way back in Minnesota when he was calling plays there with Dalvin Cook. Um, so. Uh, Peanut said, "How many more O linemen do we need?" Well, I would like the Bengals to sign at least one more O lineman and then draft probably two. Um, it honestly depends what we do that first pick. If we sign Panay there, if we sign Slater, or if we wait to the second, third, and fourth rounds to draft offensive lineman, that's going to be a big deal. But I think we need to either sign Nick Easton and or Trey Turner. We brought back Quentin Spain. We got Riley Reef, we got some guys on there, but for depth and rotational wise, to be able to have a competitive offensive line that Frank Polak, the offensive line coach, can work with and, rotate guys out, find the best player, the most hard-working guy that's going to protect Burrow. He's going to be able to evaluate these guys better than whoever was the offensive line coach in the past. Way better. I mean, he is league-wide respected, one of the best guys out there. I've been seeing some tape of Frank Polak out there at some of the training or at some of the pro days for these college kids, working them out. So he's getting hands-on evaluation of who he wants to draft, which is phenomenal. I saw him working out a USC offensive lineman. Can't think of the name off the top of my tongue, but he was working out one-on-one with the USC offensive lineman. So it's great seeing that. He's going to be able to evaluate the talent. That's why I see all these people like, oh, why are we signing these bad offensive linemen? They're PFF grade. Oh my gosh, it's a 49. All this and that. It don't matter. We need bodies. We need depth. And despite what the numbers say at PFF, it's because of injury or whatever, Frank Polak is going to be able to come in and evaluate the offensive line better than anybody has done, or as anybody's done in the past for the Cincinnati Bengals on the offensive line. So I'm not worried about it. So to answer your question, we need to sign at least one more offensive lineman. Hopefully Trey Turner. He's the best one out there, but if not, Nick Easton can be a good rotational guy. And then we need to at least sign or pick up two in the draft. So I hope that clears you up. Derek, that's a good question there, bud. I think it's too good to be true, but if it was, I'd be jumping for joy. To judge these coaches, they have to get players that fit their system, and as much as you like the certain players, we have to move on. I'm not the Bengals. I'm not. It's not that the Bengals don't like Gio, but we need that 4 million. Keith, you're exactly right. Right, and like I said, if the Bengals do release Giovani Bernard, they're gonna get that 4.2 million back in cap space and an extra draft pick. But I think it's more important is that 4.2 million cap space because they're gonna spin it. They're gonna go spend it on Nick Easton or Trey Turner or Ryan Kerrigan. They're gonna go spend that money. Obviously, they have extra money now, but that's just gonna add to the pot. You know what I mean? And you get draft capital to draft another offensive lineman or whoever you want. But will Mr. Will Coach Zach Taylor, will Coach Taylor, the Batman, trade his Robin and Giovani Bernard, his sidekick? I don't know. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really tough if he trades his sidekick Giovani Bernard. It's gonna be really interesting. I'll say that. Uh, Somebody said I don't think we've been using Gio enough to justify keeping him. I mean he started half the season last season, so and he's just been our backup back because we signed Joe Mixon to be our full guy. So it's not that I don't think we've been utilizing him enough because he has his role. It's a backup running back to come in and do his job, to come in and pick up blitzes and get out in the field to field some balls for Burrow or whoever. If they got to get the ball quickly, screen there, screen that, quick slant, whatever, out route. That's been his game. I think he's done his job well, but I do see what you mean because if he did go to another team, maybe he will play a bigger role than what he does here in Cincinnati when Mixon's healthy. So, maybe someone out there does see him as a starting running back. If he does get that opportunity, congrats, Bernard. He's 29 years old, heading on to 30. That'd be fairly impressive. Fairly impressive. Cal said we actually won more games with Marvin and went to playoffs a few times, to be honest. He also coached for 2 decades, so um, not 2 seasons. So, and let's be honest, how many of those playoff games did he win? Pain. Trey is a free agent and was with the Chargers. Oh yeah, I thought that question was off, but cool. Let's see what we're saying. Martin, I don't know how to say that first name. I super apologize. I think it's Ike. Let me know if I'm doing it wrong or if I'm saying it wrong or pronouncing it wrong. I apologize. But he said we need another receiver too. I think we're definitely gonna draft. Get 2 pass catchers in the draft at least as well. Pass catchers as in tight end and or receiver. Or 2 receivers and no tight ends. I think we'll get 2 in the draft at least. But yeah, signing another receiver would be pretty nice right now. I wanted Josh Reynolds, but that went and gone. We're not going to get Sammy Watkins. So, I don't know what other receivers are out there on the market that the Bengals can bring in. But, yeah, I don't disagree with you there. Dylan said if Chase, Pitts, and Sewell are all there, who do you want them to draft? Sewell number 1, Pitts number 2, and Chase number 3. Although I think realistically it's going to be Sewell number 1, Chase number 2, and Pitts number 3. You got to protect Burrow number 1, so I put Sewell first, but it seems like he might be getting picked before the 5 spot. So if he does, I think you give the phone to Joe Burrow. Hey, Joe, do you want your former, LSU guy Chase, or do you want Pitts? And whoever Burrow Pitts, whoever Burrow picks, I think that's the man. But if Sewell is there, I think you got to go Sewell. Like, you just can't pass up a 20-year-old. I mean, he's 20 years old, and he's the best draft prospect in probably the entire draft at 20 years old. You can't really pass up that if he's at 5. So I just think if he's there at 5, there's no way in hell the Bengals are passing it up. But if he's not there at 5, it's going to be a tough decision between Chase and Pitts. Elijah Vera Tucker, yes, that was the offensive lineman. Frank Pollock was working out one-on-one in USC. So what is he projected going? What round is Elijah Vera Tucker going? Because I'd be very interested to see where, because he was working out with offensive line coach Frank Pollock a couple days ago. Logic said it's a great feeling as a Bengals fan knowing we are adding players that want to be on the team. Hey, man, Logic, that's 100% right there. The Bengals are bringing in guys not who just have the greatest talent in the world, but guys who want to be in Cincinnati and who want to be a part of the new day culture. So I 100% agree with that. Yes, Hershey, I think we'd all like to see that. John says, I hope Tate gets more targets this year. Exactly, he definitely will. Although I do agree that the Bengals need another receiver, which I think they'll address in the draft. Like I said, they need to have a little bit more just for depth reasons. But I think everyone has forgot about Auden Tate. He was injured. He was basically injury prone all last season. I mean, on and off. I think he was dealing with that shoulder injury. He tried to fight through it, and then finally he ended his season early getting surgery. I think everyone's just forgot about Auden Tate. Don't forget about him. He's going to have a monster season. I remember when we could call out backs, a double-headed monster when we had Gio and Hill. Buddy King said, how it's going, bro? Hey, man, it's going pretty good. It's been a pretty good Thursday. How's your day going, man? I hope you're having a good day. I hope everyone in here is having a good Thursday and looking forward to the weekend. And I hope all of you guys have a blessed and good weekend. Stay safe and all that good stuff. Have fun. And hit that notification bell and stay up to date on all Bengals breaking news and all that good stuff, because we cover it here at DCTV. And I love taking in your guys' inputs on these live streams. So I'm glad you guys could be a part of it. Justin said, I say trade Bernard for a receiver. What do you think? I mean, I guess if there is a position I would want back, I guess a receiver, wouldn't be too bad, because you get a position that we need depth in. But personally, I would still rather have, I think, the $4.2 million in cap space we would get if we did trade him. Just because the Bengals, if they want to go sign a receiver, they can go pick whoever they want. Where if they get this guy in a trade, his salary cap could be just as much, could be more. So we're losing money doing this trade. I don't think it's a bad idea though. I don't think it's the worst idea ever. But personally, I think I'd rather have that 4.2 million. It honestly depends who. Does this receiver fit our scheme? Is he a deep threat? Because I think that's who the Bengals need. The Bengals need a deep threat guy for Burrow. So late first, early second. If he could fall to the second, that might be our second round pick right there. Kyle said they're focusing too much in defense than offense. Well, I think offense is going to become majority out of the draft. And they've signed some offensive linemen too to protect Burrow. But I think a lot of people are forgetting, like, oh, why are they signing defense? Why are they signing defense? They're signing defense because we had like 6 defensive players that started leave. Carl Lawson left. Okay, but we have to replace him. Okay, hold on, something fell. Okay, sorry, I'm back. William Jackson left. Okay, but we got Chidobe Awuzie replacement. Okay, Mackenzie Alexander's going to leave. Okay, but we got Mike Hilton replacement. So instead of re-signing these guys, we basically just signed guys that we needed to sign because we lost that position. You know what I mean? We lost Geno Atkins, or well, we released them. Well, what do? We go out and sign Larry Unganjobi, defensive tackle. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm not too upset that they went heavier on defense because if you don't recall, our defense was pretty damn bad last season, and if we would have had a worse roster on our defense than we did last season, it would have been pretty tough. So I'm not even too mad about it. Gio in a trade for Ertz, I honestly think that's the way to go. Personally, I'd pass. I think Ertz is kind of a shell of his former self, and I don't know. I'd pass on that personally. I wonder if we can get a second round pick. I don't think the Bengals would get anything more than a 4th. Honestly, think Samaje and Joe Mixon are the way to go in the backfield. Then draft Tommy Tremble and move him to tight end. He's a friggin' beast blocker and solid hands. Interesting. Yeah, and like I said, I've said it multiple times. I think this is gonna be the last time I say it. The biggest reason why they want to keep Bernard is not because of his play on his field, as it is his presence in the locker room and as a captain. Obviously, his on-field presence is amazing, but it's just not as good as his off-field presence and his leadership role in the locker room of the New Day. But yes, that's a good point. I don't know if it was 6 starters. That was just a number I thrown out, but that was just like I said, like 6 starters. I mean, let's do it. We're gonna lose Mackenzie Alexander. Excuse me. We're gonna lose William Jackson, or we lost William Jackson III. We lost Carl Lawson. We lost DJ Reader, who wasn't a starter last season, but you get the points. He was starters, and I guess before. I was exaggerated, but you get the point. I mean, we had to sign guys because we lost guys on defense. That's why I'm not too mad about it. Receiver, offensive line, deep in the draft. 100% agree with you, Ken. Justin said, have you heard any news on Kerrigan? No, I have not. I'm still looking at some of the sources I got that, are kind of iffy, but they're kind of good. They're good at assuming. And Drake and I have reached out to some of them and just nothing yet. Other than I think he's in Cincinnati right now, or if he isn't, he should be within this weekend. I think he's here now. That's what the report sounded like. He was coming pretty ASAP, as soon as possible. So we're still waiting on that. But I think if Giovani Bernard does get released tomorrow, I think you'll see Ryan Kerrigan signing right after it, just because it'll free up some extra cap space. Or not releasing Giovani Bernard, excuse me, but a trade of Giovani Bernard. I think you'd see a Ryan Kerrigan signing right after. That's just my prediction if Bernard does get traded. Last four says, "Where'd you get your full size helmet? How much was it?" My dad actually won it at a work, how a lot of jobs have their like party every year. They did a raffle, and it was a raffle for a Bengals helmet. He actually won it, but it's authentic. It's a couple of years old, but it's completely authentic. Probably at least like $200 because those helmets go for like a signed Joe Burrow helmet. I'm pretty sure is like an authentic size is like $700, and just like the mini ones are like $200. So that one's not signed. I plan on going down there and doing vlogs and live streams of the training camps, but who knows what the training camps are going to be like with COVID this season. We cut them, didn't lose them. If you're talking about our agents, we didn't cut William Jackson and we didn't cut Carl Lawson. The only one we cut was Geno Atkins, so we did lose the other ones. Protecting Burrow is a key, not replacing defensive players that were key players. I mean, you can protect Burrow all you want, which we've also done partially, and we're continue doing in the draft, but it's not going to help if teams are putting 40 points on us every week. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have to disagree with you there. But both are very valuable and important. My whole point was if we're going to be losing guys, if we're going to be losing key starters, you're going to have to either bring them back or replace them, and the Bengals decided to replace them. Yeah, and then the update of Nick Eason, I've also haven't seen much on the presence of Nick Eason. Last thing I saw was my stream a few days ago where they said Nick Eason was visiting Cincinnati this week. I haven't seen anything on him. But like I said, if a Giovani Bernard trade does pop off, which I said there's probably a 40 to 60, 40% chance it does happen, a 60% chance it doesn't happen, a 40 to 60 ratio, I don't think it'll happen, but if it does happen, I'm telling you, there's going to be signings right after it because they're clearing that 4.2 million cap space to sign another player if they get rid of Giovanni Bernard. Letting you know right now, that's what's going to happen. They don't trade them. They still might sign these guys because they can still afford them with the salary cap the Bengals are dealing with right now. They still have money, but, that's just my prediction. Logic said, "Yo, we have to stay healthy this year. The past couple years have been incredibly unlucky towards everyone." Hey, Logic, man, I totally agree. It's just been so unlucky. It's just been so unlucky, man, and there's just nothing you can do. If we get 4 or 5 pick receiver, running back, cornerbacks, that'll contribute for sure. Maybe even D-line, much like Lawson. Uh, I love Gio. Hey, man, I think behalf of Cincinnati, your statement right there is, I think it holds true to majority of Cincinnati right there. What do you think the next season will hold? I know it's still very early, but what do you think the Bengals will do? I'm not going to come out with any predictions or anything because that's going to be its own stream post-draft, post-free agency, and getting into the training season and all that good stuff, preseason, all that good stuff. But I will give like outside of stats, like not really a player prediction, but an organization prediction, I guess. And that's just going to be a team that's going to come together. That's actually going to have hopefully no locker room issues. Last season was just filled with locker room drama. And just even if we were focused on the field, I feel like we couldn't focus on the field because we're too busy focusing on all the disgruntled players in the organization and in the locker room. I feel like you got the game time. It was like, oh, another loss. Let's see what drama's going to pop off tonight. And then Carlos Dunlap is putting his house up for sale on Twitter. And then you see a more disgruntled face of AJ Green pissed off that he got another 0 reception game. Or you got teammates supposedly fighting in practice or whatever, or Zach Taylor having a subpar press conference. Oh, look upon Latin Day, the future is bright. It was just so disgruntled in general. I guess I'm going to use that word again. But I'm looking for an organization that's going to come together and actually have a locker room that's going to believe in Zach Taylor. Even if, we don't get 10 wins, 12 wins, make the playoffs, even if we just improve from the seasons before and Zach Taylor has the best season he has, which he should because it's the best team he's had. Just the truth. Roster-wise, is the best roster he's had since he's been here. A lot of these younger guys are starting to improve from his drafts. But it's a locker room that gels well together, hopefully, and can have more success than the previous seasons, and everybody just improve. I think improve might be my word for 2021 Cincinnati Bengals season, and I might have to keep that word when I do a stream for the Cincinnati Bengals 2021 season, because I think that's all we can ask for. More wins, more team chemistry, more offense, more defense, more better play calling, more touchdowns, more rushing yards, more receiving yards, more sacks, more tackle for losses, just improvement. Because I don't think there's any stat that I saw in 2020 that in 2021 I'm looking at it, I'm like, damn, you know what? I don't know if the Bengals can improve on that. Not a single stat. If there's a stat that you don't think the Bengals in 2020 had that they can't improve in 2021, please let me know. I'd love to see it. But off the top of my head, there's not a single category or stat that I see and I'm like, well, I don't think the Bengals can do better in 2021. So I'm just looking to improve as a whole organization and a team, to be taken seriously, to be looked at as a contender. I think contending is what this whole offseason meant for the Cincinnati Bengals organization. Is they don't want to go in being the bottom of the barrel, top 5 pick, lottery pick, top 10 pick. Oh, we're ready for draft season in week 8. We still have a month of football, and we already know we're not going to be playing we're not going to be playing in January. So let's just get ready for mock drafts and who we going to sign and this and that. Like a team that will actually be taken seriously, and fans can take them seriously, and we can compete with teams. I think the toughest thing about it is just our division. We played so bad in our division last season, it was a joke. But to be completely fair, we have probably either the best or second best division in the National Football League. It's a really good division. We were the only team in the division that didn't make the playoffs. 3 other teams did. All other 3 teams in the division made the playoffs. So if we can compete within our division, I think that it's going to be a lot better of a season. We just got to be taken seriously, and I think we will. And I think that was a big hammer point on this offseason. Outside of, obviously, the number 1 point was protect Burrow, build around Burrow, give Burrow a team. I think that was kind of the main point of that. So outside of protect Burrow, get Burrow healthy, build weapons around him, I think that's kind of what it means, just improve. Because no matter what you say, if you're a fan of the Bengals or not, if you're a fan of Burrow or not, if you're a fan of Zach Taylor or not, when Burrow is on that field, there is a chance that the Bengals can win any game they're in. If they're playing the Chiefs, who they will play this season, if they're playing the Ravens, if they're playing the Browns, if they're playing the Steelers, if Joe Burrow is on the field healthy and you give him some weapons, he will be able to compete in every single game. I mean, that's what he's known to do. He might not win every game, but that kid competes. He loves the game of football. And last season, every single game Joe Burrow was in, there was just a feeling that, like, we can win this. Even if we were down 17, 10 points, knowing that Joe Burrow was at quarterback, I knew at any moment that we were still in that game. We still had a very great chance at winning that game because of who Joe Burrow. So the fact that he's going to be able to come back, hopefully in week one, to come back happy and healthy, I think that's a main point as well. But I know I got kind of carried away with that, but that's kind of my whole expressions on next season. Darrell says Bernard no trade. Okay. H3 Productions, I did say give me a stat that, I don't think we could approve on. Kick return, Brandon Wilson was a freaking monster, but I can't say we can't approve on it because who returns? Brandon Wilson's going to return. So he's going to be able to have even better of a season than he had this season. So, and even punt return. I think we can improve in punt return because Alex Fair Catch Erickson is finally gone. Best of luck in the rest of his career. But hopefully we can actually have a guy that will catch the ball, not not fumble it, not fair catch it, but actually try to run and gain some yards. Maybe it might be Brandon Wilson, Darius Phillips. We'll see who. Which teams in our division do you see us beating as of right now? Well, like I said, I think the Bengals have a chance of going 500 with anybody in the division. It's just division ball. I mean, no matter how good a roster is, no game is promised in the division. I mean, you saw what we did to Pittsburgh, who was at the time, Super Bowl favorites for 8 out of 10, ESPN analysts. So I think it's easy. You can go 500, and it's expected to at least go 500 with every single divisional opponent. Baltimore, you can at least split a game. Because what game should you split? The home game, obviously. You should be able to win that home divisional game. But nonetheless, you should be able to split any divisional game. But they get in the playoffs, it's an uneven split because it goes from 2 games to 3 games in a season. So that's always fun. Yeah, John, I think signing Reef all gave us a little bit of hope in, what the Bengals are looking to build upon next season. Yeah, Dennis said I don't believe in Zach Taylor, but I believe 100% in Super Joe Burrow. So I'm probably gonna head up out of here. I've been live for over an hour, so if you can smash that like button. We're at 38 likes right now live. If you could get that to 50, I'd really appreciate it. And if you're watching this post production, get that all the way to 100 likes. If you're appreciative of Giovani Bernard and his career in Cincinnati, if Giovani Bernard returns in stripes next season, yes. If Giovani Bernard doesn't return in stripes next season, best of luck to you, and hopefully the Bengals get some good draft capital in return for you, and some good money as well in the salary cap, where they can then go protect Burrow or build even more weapons around Burrow. But nonetheless, I'm happy no matter what. Obviously, it's gonna sting a little bit if Giovani Bernard does leave. You are just a pure class Cincinnati Bengal. When a Cincinnati Bengal comes to Cincinnati for the first time, if it's draft day or a trade or a signing or whatever, you want them to be met with someone with the class attitude like Giovani Bernard has had in his career. Thank you for being the Robin to Zach Taylor's Batman, because if you weren't the Robin to Zach Taylor being Batman, I don't think Zach Taylor would be the coach right now, because you've been the one guy through thick and thin to stand next to his side and say, hey guys, trust the process, trust. We got the sun's over the horizon somewhere. It's going to come up sometime, and the future is bright. Believe in this guy, believe in Coach Zach. If I do, you can. I'm the captain of this thing. Let's go. Hooday, baby. I mean, he is just the class act Cincinnati Bengal. And obviously, I want to see him in stripes. But more than seeing him in stripes, I want to see the Bengals succeed in 2021. And if that's with or without Giovani Bernard, you got to do what you got to do. The NFL, at the end of the day, is a business. With all that being said, please, please, please get active in that comment section post-production. Once the stream goes up, let me know your thoughts. And if you want to, spam up some thank you Giovani Bernard or thank you Bernard. Don't want to jinx that he is getting drafted, but if he does... Oh, wow, we got some breaking news about Carlos Dunlap. Hold on, I'm about to end it. Carlos Dunlap re-signs with the Seahawks, 2-year deal, $16 million, 8.5 guaranteed, excuse me. I said guaranteed. Okay, so as I'm about to wrap this thing up, Carlos Dunlap re-signs. That's a good contract for Dunlap. That's a lot of money. So, sorry, I was very sentimental right there, but Ian Rappaport says the Seahawks are re-signing pass rusher Carlos Dunlap to a 2-year deal worth $16.6 million with $8.5 million guaranteed. So, there you go. There's a little news for you. Sorry for The interruption right there. But yeah. Nonetheless, good for Dunlap. Congrats on the contract. And same for you, Bernard, if you end up leaving and or you stay this season and you walk next season since your contract's up. Whatever it is, I want the Bengals to see in 2021. I hope you guys do too, if that's with or without Bernard. But just thank you, Bernard, for just being a pure class act. Yeah, I could talk crap about your game if you get a bad fumble and you lose us the game. But if there's one thing I will never talk crap about or put down on your name, it is that how hell of a class act you are in Cincinnati. You are just the true photograph of what a Bengal should be on and off the field. Thank you. With that being said, guys, smash that like button. Please, please, please join the DC family if you want to see more Bengals content. Hit the bell to stay up to date on all my notifications so you don't have to watch post-production. You can watch live. Join the 513 Sports Discord, link in the description, and I believe it's the third link. And become a member, join Buzz, and help me support me monthly. Follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. And other than that, yeah, you guys have a beautiful and blessed rest of your day. Stay you, stay true, and as always, Hoo Day, baby.